Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein here in my studio as we talk about the markets, what they may mean going forward, what's going to happen. We have both a U.S. jobs report and then very shortly another Fed meeting. So let's talk about all this right now. What we got at the beginning of the week, and I think you realize this, was the first report was the JOLTS opening. And job numbers went up that employers are looking for, but there was another number in there. The turnover number is very small, so people aren't jumping around. We're also have been seeing that there's not a lot of price increases demanded in wages. On the 8th, we had jobless claims. And instead of going up, as you would think with high interest rates and people worried, oh, is there going to be demand for goods? They fell 10,000. So people are finding jobs in a fairly short manner. Those looking out for a certain type of job, and that's what we call the continuing claims, well, they did go up, but they're not over the 1.9 level. They're not in a scary area at all. So these are still strong numbers. Then we take a look at what happened today. And we saw the Challenger Gray numbers come out, and that's corporate planned layoffs. Look, they dropped, and they dropped sharply, 19,000. So again, we have numbers that aren't falling out of bed. The next thing I want you to look at with me is what we get for the U.S. December jobs report, which comes out on Friday, the 10th. And the first thing is they're looking for a decline down to 155,000 jobs. Now, what does that mean? It means that we're seeing the cutback, and that's the first thing the Fed will look at. They'll say, the number's down. Now, that's a number you have to beat. Anything near 200 means it's coming out stronger and the market's got it wrong. The Fed could still say, hey, it's still under 200,000 and that's good, but it's still signs of a strong economy. The weakness would come in if the market fell all of a sudden and we saw things falling maybe towards the 100,000 number. The employment rate is widely expected to be unchanged at 4.2%. And last, what you have to look at is wages. And what I said earlier on that we saw in other reports, the ADP report, is people aren't demanding higher wages at this point. Yes, you will get a few areas that it happens. We saw the longshoreman strike tentatively scheduled to end now, but over a 6-year period, a 62% increase in wages. That's inflationary any way that I look at it, but it's over a certain period of time and it builds year over year. Okay, it's not a straight 10% every year. I think you understand that. So you look at this, you see what the markets are doing, and you try to figure out where you're at. Let me sum it up for you this way. I think the Fed is caught in a rock and a hard place. I think that as long as the labor market stays strong, they can turn their focus again from labor. Remember, I did a flip-flop report for you recently and look back at inflation. So now they have to say labor is strong enough, if it stays like this, to handle a rate what? A rate increase. You heard what I just said, not a rate cut. They need to see falling inflation for them to say, let's get ahead of it, because the labor market, they hope, would fall as inflation falls. They're not getting that. So the other side of the argument from some analysts, that they're not being heard loud and clear, but you're seeing it in the Fed members as they're gradually saying, you know something, let's stop, look at the data. And let you and I do that together and look at the data that I've got for you. So an easy way to get up with our data is right here. Go to iraepstein.com. You see that right as I'm doing it. Each day, somewhere in the neighborhood of 7:30 p.m. Central Time, I'll publish end-of-the-day market reviews covering the metal markets, the financial markets, spiders and stocks. And in the morning, I'll come out with a morning flash, as you can see right here, that talks about the day's events. And I try to get that in your hands in the neighborhood of 8:30 a.m. Central Time. For those of you that want the real detailed areas that I go into, click on the research right through here. This is where you can get my different videos that come in where I'm able to say, buy here, sell there, do this, do that. Consider this as a full package of research. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'll be with you next week as we cover another important topic.